Okay.
Hi.
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 Oh, you're talking to me?
Talking to you.
Talking to me, talking to you.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
Welcome.
When is it? The 30th? 31st?
August 30th.
30th of August. And we are in such an incredible moment in historical time. Every day things change because of what's going on. Of course,
Flooding
reminded
and fires
the flooding
today.
and fires, flooding in all over Texas and Louisiana.
And we're in India and Myanmar.
Oh yeah,
and there's
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. I mean, there's flooding all over and fires. We have more fires here in Oregon than ever in history, recorded history.
And of course, the United States pulled out of the climate agreement. And so this is major stuff that we're facing right now. What to do? What to do. So that's what we're answering. Of course, we've been at it for a long time at what we're doing and what we've been working towards. We're coming from the perspective of not fighting against anything, fighting against the system, because now it's really taken care of. I mean, everything is to the surface. Everything is open and seen, and we just have to trust that the people that have some compassion and caring about what happens in life on this earth, to everything, that are really beginning to see the light, and the light of love, the light of compassion, the light to move forward in living in our dreams. And that's what it's all about. We've been promised the pursuit of happiness, and most people get stuck in the pursuit and get no satisfaction in the happiness part. Well, we're here to boost the pursuit, and we're pursuing it for everybody. So that's what Peace Production is all about. You can't see our above there, but Peace Production. Show the whole thing in a minute, even if we disappear. Yeah. Peace Production. We're creating a kingdom where King Don is no longer the king. We are in the kingdom where Tinkerbell energy rules, the Tinkerbell energy of love, caring, and compassion. And we're keeping it light for a very important reason, because lightness is so important to keep everything in joy, even when things are devastating. And of course, when you're in the middle of it, you're not expected to be in joy. But know that we're looking at helping to create a different world where reason is reasonable, where reason is full of compassion. So if you've been present to some of our, let's recap.
Yeah. So this is for the Heartist.us journey. HEARTIST.us is the website. And it's a journey that we're taking, and we're inviting participants wherever you are in the world to join us. And there's room for a few to join us even as we travel from Mount Shasta through Hungary, the Black Forest of Germany, CERN, Switzerland, and over to Glastonbury, England. And this specific webinar, we're going to focus on what we're calling the birth portal in the Black Forest of Germany and CERN, Switzerland, where the two circles of the masculine heart and the feminine heart overlap. So when two circles overlap, it makes a Vesica Pisces. My fingers don't do it real well, but two circles with a little overlapping there. And that space where they overlap, that's the part we're really going to talk about today. You can also...
That's what you call
the birth portal. Because that specific sacred geometry form, the Vesica Pisces, is referred to as the birth portal. That part of it is. Really, though, you can also look at it as the masculine heart and the feminine heart are the two breasts of the mother. And that would make that section our sternum if it related to the human body. And we're birthing out through the heart. And we're rooting in our heart. And everything is in the heart. So we just spent another few days at Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta called us with this journey. We received it in meditation on the mountain.
Mount Shasta is in California. Even though we're in Oregon, we're not very far from there.
We're in her roots. We're only a couple hours north.
I mean, the root actually goes deep into the inside of the earth.
And all the way out to the ocean.
There's a whole story about deep inside the earth, under Shasta. It's called Telos. But that's another story.
But excitingly, Diane Robbins, who is the first author of anything about Telos, is participating in our 10/10/2017 event at Mount Shasta to launch the journey. And we just met with her when we were there a couple of days ago. And we're really excited to have her participation. We have a little private gathering with Diane. You can look up Diane, Dianne, Robbins, Robbins, and her books on Telos and the messages from the crystals, messages from the trees. She's really speaking for those elemental beings and giving them voice in English, and they're worth listening to. So the previous webinars, we've talked about the root, and we did an overview of the journey. Then we talked about the root at Mount Shasta. Then we talked about the feminine heart in Hungary. Then we talked about the masculine heart in England. And today we're talking about that birthing through the heart, right through the center of our sternum and the major part of our vagus nerve.
But all of that you can actually catch the links to on our website.
Yeah.
So you haven't missed it. If you missed it, you haven't missed it.
You can go back and see it.
Link it. Yeah. Link us up. Link up with us.
So there are 3 places we're going in that area. The Black Forest of Germany. We're going to the Art of Living Ashram. We're going to Triberg Waterfall, which is the highest waterfall in the Black Forest, because this is all about the water. So we go from the waters to the waters. And going to CERN, Switzerland, where the Hadron Collider is found. When we made this image, you can see it on our website. Maybe I can find a way to show it to you on here. But while I'm talking about it, I can't talk and type at the same time.
You can't talk and chew gum at the same time, that's for sure. You don't even chew gum anymore. I haven't seen you chew gum. But anyway, so our journey from Telos.
So here, let me share my screen here now.
Oh.
Share
Is it
screen.
Working? It's hard to tell. How do we know if it's working?
We're going to share the hardest us.
But how do we know that it's working? How do we see it?
Well, just a second and you'll see. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, this area right here. And when I was guided to mark these 2 locations, which are Chalice Well, they're seeing this and that. Chalice Well, and over here, it's not showing on this image, Dobogokur in Hungary. I was guided to draw circles around them and see where they overlap. And you can see here, there's Frankfurt, Germany. This is the Black Forest of Germany right here. And Triberg Waterfalls is right in the middle. The Ashram, the Art of Living Ashram is right about here. And then down here, right where all these points merge, I couldn't have planned this if I'd tried.
You said that Triberg was in the middle. Triberg is up on top.
No, they're both right about here.
Oh.
And then right here where they all converge is CERN, Switzerland, and the Hadron Collider. So here I'll take you to this page, Switzerland. If you don't know about the Hadron Collider, so here's Triberg, and then here's CERN, Switzerland. This is an image of the Higgs boson particle that CERN, Switzerland is an occult science exploration center. They've been working on atomic energy. They send two atoms 60 miles in diameter, and they send two atoms from the same point, each in different directions. And then when they meet in the middle and explode, as atoms are wont to do if they bang into each other, then they take pictures. And so they found that the Higgs boson particle, which they're calling the God particle, and they've proven quantum physics by discovering that Planck is the smallest particle. A lot of our science is coming out of this facility. And about a month ago, they completely changed technology at this facility, and they are no longer studying atomic energy. They've learned everything they feel they need to know about atomic energy, and they've shifted into plasma. Well, life force is in the blood, it's in the plasma. So they're now working with life force in liquid. Electrified liquid is what plasma is. And we're going to go and tour the facility and feel it, know it, receive any messages that might come from it, and we'll share them with you. This is really powerful. I urge you to look up the Hadron Collider and see the history and processes there.
But even more interesting is the history we're making. The history that we're making, hopefully together with everyone. Because it's not about us. It's not about us doing anything. We are pilgrims. We are pilgrims on this journey, and we humbly represent all of humanity, as we can all do, because we are truly all one with this heart connection. And that's what this is all about. We call it a heartist. We call what we do heartistry. And the heartistry is to get out of our reasonable, which is mostly very unreasonable, ego mind, to establish ourselves sternly behind the sternum in the heart, and relate to each other and behave with each other with kindness, caring, and sharing. That's all it's about. So we're in our hearts, and when we made this this journey of the hardest, which we call the hardistry, into the sphere, the energy space of our love center, it's where all of humanity is. In fact, it's where all of life is. That is what life is. And that's what has been so heavily bombarded throughout these eons of time. Eons being 1,000 years. Eon is 1,000 years, isn't it? I think each eon is 1,000 years. So
I'm not
eons of time, many eons, because that's just been a way of our present Homo sapien attitude. So I think the last time we talked about that, we renamed ourselves, and it includes everybody. You don't have to accept it if you don't want to, but it's Homo spiritus. Homo spiritus.
And this up here, that is the new energy body, the blooming of our chakras. Right here for Homo spiritus. This Homo sapien is about being in the mind. Sapien means mind. And Homo spiritus is about being in the spirit and being in our hearts and having full embodiment of body, spirit, and soul, all of our bodies here and on the ground, reaching out, connecting heart to heart with other beloveds around the world. And you're our beloved.
So come and play with us, play in the Garden of the Gods. Gosh, I used to live by the Garden of the Gods in Colorado.
We're talking about the art of living, the art of living ashram.
Oh, the art of living ashram in the middle of the Black Forest. Its name is Bad Antogast. I'm not sure what Antogast means in German, but Bad means bath or spa, I think. Because that is very much of a spa country. There's quite a few springs, healing springs, and baths, that kind of bath. Just like in Hungary. Hungary is full of baths.
We're going to enjoy
Healing
all the
waters.
spa stuff on the journey, all the waters.
And it's healing waters that have been turned into this destructive force. And right now, the destructive force is expressing itself with the water, with the rain. It's a war on life, using the water. And there's a good possibility that even technology is being used for that.
Geoengineering, weather warfare, those are things you can Google and find out
It's
about.
you can Google and find out about it. But there's so much confusion that's infused in there so that we don't really know. But it's all done for somebody's profit. So all we have to do is look at who's profiting and who's losing. And it's not the regular people that are profiting, and they're not winning. It's being used. So,
well, the information may not be clear that you get from Google and Facebook and various news sources. You can take any information and take it into your heart and feel the truth of that, whether something is true or not. You'll either resonate with it or you won't. And that's the beauty of our hearts, is they know, they're connected through, we are interwoven. None of us are separate from one another. But when we connect with consciousness, we have a whole lot more power. We're talking about real life force power in our physical form when we consciously and purposefully connect in groups in large amounts across the planet. Last night there was a global drum meditation, drum circles all over the world, drumming for peace. And there have been many global meditations and global activities, and this is another one. And the more we come together globally and practice communicating in the inners instead of on the internet, we call it the inner net. the more we practice that, the better we'll be able to communicate with one another in times to come.
Yeah. Telepathy is not just a word.
And it's not just mental.
Yeah, it's not mental telepathy. It's total communication. Energy, everything is energy. An energetic communication, we can create that you get the radio waves and microwaves and this waves and that's all energy. It's unseen, but we also emit, we ooze energy. And energy by choice is where we are right now as humanity. We can choose the direction the energy flows, the direction that love energy flows. Because really, that's the strongest form of energy in the universe, love.
And when we emit our own personal tone, stronger than any other tone around us, that's when we're sovereign. When we have our sovereignty, we are empowered, we are embodied, and we can know whatever we need to know. You can ask a question and go in the inners and receive your answer, because on the inside is the kingdom of heaven. And we are connected to all truth and all love and all wisdom. All we have to do is go into the depths of our heart. That's all we have to do. But that's a lot to do sometimes, because the journey between the mind and the heart, there are many obstacles in the way that we have created for ourselves to cause us to have to really want it, have to really search for it and really commit and dedicate our lives to finding that purity of heart.
And we commit by choosing it. In fact, we mentioned it before, but this is a new movement. It's really about simplifying our direction. It's like, how we started out this podcast was about choosing love. And what is happening is that there is a movement. And all the movements right now are coming and simplifying and finding a very strong direction forward in the best way.
Like a flock of birds coming together and flying together, no longer separate and alone, flying with one heart and one mind.
Yes, I mean, just recently we've seen some unusual flock of bird here in Grants Pass, Oregon. I don't know, there must have been thousands of, they didn't look very big, but when they were together, they make all these unusual shapes as they fly together, but it's like this big thing in the sky.
Like a black cloud
that's flying around. It's so amazing to see. And of course, Canadian geese, when they fly in formation, there's what seems like one leader, but it's usually not a leader. They change positions quite often. And it's not about leadership. It's about the power of that V-shaped pointed energy cutting through and going through all these things that the birds must feel, a lot of different energies. And they sense, of course, canaries are used in the mines because they're so sensitive. They're sensitive to not only lack of oxygen, but waves, sounds, and all kinds of things that we've lost a lot of sensitivity to these things. But we can get them back with intention and acceptance. Acceptance of this miracle of life that we have. And in fact, our bodies, our bodysuits, are incredible creation. And
acceptance means that you're accepting what is yours. If you're in acceptance, that's because you're receiving. Receiving and acceptance are two of the same. So receive, accept, and receive. Receive and accept.
And the most important thing to accept is a miracle, the miracle of life. You know, the miracle of life is life. Talk about simple. It really is that simple. Of course, there's a lot of things behind it, but all we have to do is to see it. When we allow ourselves to see through our inner heart, our inner, they call third eye, all kinds of things, but it's not woo-woo. It's the truth. The truth is that our divine spirit, that's what we call ourselves, Homo spiritus. Our divine spirit is just that, divine spirit. And it's that divinity that connects all life, and certainly the Homo spiritus life. So we invite you to join the Homo spiritus group, the Heartist group, the Heartist way, by that simple movement of choosing love. And it is becoming a big movement. There have been events proposed a number of places.
Well, Talisha Namkai was one of the young men that was murdered on the Portland train when he stood up to protect two young Muslim girls who were traveling home from school one day and attacked by a racist on the train. 3 men stood up in protection of them. And Talisha, the 23-year-old son of a friend of ours, Asha Deliverance, the founder of Pacific Domes, was on that train and he was killed. And his last words were, "Tell everyone on the train I love them." So Asha has launched this campaign, We Choose Love. And like Heather Heyer on the East Coast, Talisha on the West Coast, it's these beautiful, bright beings now on the other side of the veil, still helping and loving through. And We Choose Love is a movement and a choice we all make with every breath, every thought, every action. We choose love. It's a choice, and we invite you to choose it. And our next webinar will be about different ways to participate from where you are or to travel with us. We'll go into detail about the different ways you can participate on the Hardest Us journey. And
next Wednesday,
what is that, 4:30.
4th, is that September 4th, 3rd or 4th?
September 6th. Next Wednesday, September 6th at 4:30 Pacific time, US. And we'll be meeting here again. You're welcome to join us. The details for the Zoom webinar will be on Facebook and on our website, heartist.us, HEARTIST.US. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time.
On the wings of our hearts, we're flying through the universe with love.
With great love.
and with kindness.